What I'm going to do now is just show you a few simple things that you can do for someone who's had a stroke. When you've had a stroke, what happens is some of the connections from the brain to the body are either injured or gone. And so what you're trying to do is help the person's brain reconnect to those movements in their body or create new pathways. So we're going to do some very simple things that is really kind of mapping or remapping the foot and then the hands, because those are simple things that anyone can do. It will feel really nice and it will help the person's brain recognize the shape and movement of their foot and hands. And the hands and the feet are very close together in the brain, so it's nice to do both. Okay, so I'm just going to take Shannon's foot and I'm going to lift it up just so that I can see or feel the bottom of her foot. I'm going to hold above the foot and I'm just going to take one finger. You can take whatever finger you want and very gently and slowly just draw the line from her heel out through her little toe. And I'm going to do that through each toe, from the heel through the bottom of her foot and out through her next toe. And you can just play around with anything that's easy. You might find that after a little while there might be some little twitching in the foot, or maybe not, but you're just thinking that you're helping her sense and feel the shape of her foot, but also that each toe has a different connection through the foot, through the heel up to the ankle. So you can come up to the toes and just do very little movements at the base of the toe. And you can see when I just move the base of her toe a little bit, something happens in her ankle. And when you're doing this with someone's foot and something happens in the foot and in the ankle, you can just notice if anything is happening in the knee or up into the hip. And just knowing that what you're paying attention to, some part of them is feeling and sensing and waking up to. And if you just have a little bit of time, I would recommend doing the feet. But if you have a little more time, then you can also do the hands. And it's the same thing. There's so many nerve endings in the hands. And people have so much awareness from having used them for so many things. You can just take a finger, whatever one is comfortable for you, and lightly trace from the base of the thumb up out through the thumb. And so when you get to the end, if you just feel a little bit of movement, if it's easy, then just a little movement so they can feel what it will be like when they can have to move their own hand again. And again, you can kind of have the sense of how that can go through the hand. Each one has a little different movement through the palm, into the wrist. And then very simply what you can also do, if you're comfortable, is just go through each finger and just do a little bit of a very gentle kind of turning and very subtle lengthening. And you can actually, if it's comfortable, you can just, as you lengthen, you can look and see, is there any connection up into the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. And meantime, always watch their breathing. If you see them start to hold their breath, then it probably means they're a little bit uncomfortable. If you see them suddenly take a deep breath, that probably means that you're doing something that's very useful for them.
Great. And do you want to do circles on the head too?
Sure.
Okay.
Do we have time?
Yeah.
The cat. So on the scalp, there's a couple really nice things to do. One is, and just to take, I like to do it with 2 fingers, but you can do it again however it's comfortable. You just make little, very gentle circles. And you almost want to feel as if you're creating a little wiggle room between the scalp and the bones of the head. And that's something that feels really great to almost everybody. It's very soothing. And also, if there's an injury or trauma, there's likely a lot of extra tension here. So this helps. We have somebody who wants to be in the, this helps that to soften. And it's just enough pressure that you can feel as if the skin is moving a little bit over the bones so that you create a little space between the skin and the bones.
Great. Thank you.
Hope that was helpful.